Okay, guys, welcome to this week's Fife Property update across the market itself in Fife from the 1st of August just passed to the 7th of August yesterday. We're going to look at the weekly roundup of what's driving the Fife property market, including the recent listings and also the sales and properties that are coming to market in the coming week for ourselves as well. So let's talk about the listings in the area. So this is the numbers again, right across Fife. So this represents every single estate agent and what they're listing versus what they're actually selling in that same period from the 1st of August to the 7th of August. Now, as you can see here in the Cooper region, there was 17 properties instructed. There was 13 properties actually sold. So, demand is not really outstripping supply just now in the Cooper area, but there's a long way to go yet because there's still a restriction in overall supply. So there's a number of times that the properties can actually come onto the market in terms of a lot of supply, but the demand will still be there, and I'll show you why that is. Because I've got the numbers to come up after this. East Neuk 3 came to the market, 5 actually went under offer. St Andrews 3 came to the market, 5 went under offer. Leavenmouth 8 came to the market, 15 went under offer. Leavenmouth is a really buoyant market. They should be getting good prices in Leaven. They should be getting offers over a significant amount over the home report value in the Leaven area, because the Leaven area demand is always outstripping supply. Dunfermline 38 came to market, 34 actually sold right across the estate agents in Fife. Glenrothes 10 came to market, 7 actually sold, and Kirkcaldy 37 came to market and 38 sold. So Kirkcaldy is quite stable in terms of the market. Overall, well, that's 116 properties where every single estate agent in Fife came onto the market. 117 properties in that period last week actually sold with all the estate agents and went under offer. Now, when I talk about that, I'm talking about the demand. So this is a reflection of demand. This is our website activity. And as you'll see here, I'm going to bring that in just so you can see a bit more of it in terms of the actual overall numbers, if you can see that. Okay, so this represents our website in the last 12 months. So as you'll see here, we went down, obviously, because of the coronavirus implications and the downward trend to Christmas. But you saw the Boxing Day bounce pull right up there. A wee bit of COVID problems in the initial stages, so it jumped down again, and then up and up and up and then up again. So you can see since the start of 12 months ago, and even when we came out of lockdown, we're still significantly above in terms of demand where we were when we came out of the pandemic, and we actually went back to in June back to selling houses and moving houses. Now, everybody thought that was a buoyant period at this time, and yet look at it now. The demand is still there, and it's on the up again. That's 450,000 visitors a year. That is a lot of visitors. That's almost approaching 35 to 40,000 a month in terms of the number of visitors are coming to our website every single month looking for property. So it's a huge amount of demand. Okay, so let's look at some of the recent sales in the area which we had. This gives you a good indication as well of the demand in the area in terms of how quick things are going. So this was the Temple. This is the plot of land we put on recently in this shed here. Now, this had plan permission to convert to a garage with a studio above and 3 Juliet balconies, one at either end and one at the front, with these beautiful sea views over there. So that went within 8 days for an offer the seller really couldn't refuse. A lot of people disappointed, missed out on this. They wanted to offer on it, but I'm afraid the seller just wanted to accept the offer they got, and they were happy with that. So it was beyond our control. So it tells us, though, that there is demand for that type of land, and you possibly could get an offer you couldn't refuse. And these types of properties, which are seafront as well. 19 Laird Avenue, well, this never even got to a portal. It never got to Rightmove, never went to prime location, never got to Zoopla. It was sold from social media for an offer. Again, the seller just couldn't refuse. So that's another one. So that shows you the amount of demand. People are actually getting properties and buying them from social media, from our social media channels, before it even gets to Rightmove or Zoopla. So you need to follow our Facebook pages in order to see these properties first, to get an opportunity to get them before anyone else. 50 Dealside Answerer, that went for an offer. Again, the seller couldn't refuse. Sold in 10 days. It actually exceeded an offer. It was a record price for that type of house in that area. So that shows you again where we are in terms of the level. And Cooper Mills, that went within 3 days. That was a 4-bedroom detached property. And again, I'm going to say it again, another record price was achieved. So there seems to be record prices being achieved right across Fife just now. If you are selling, now is the time to seriously consider it. I think this will run out of steam in the next 6 months. It won't run out of steam in terms of the price point. I think it will just level off a bit more, but the demand will run out. So if you're looking to sell, you're probably better to actually consider it now. We have sellers coming onto the market who have got an entry date, hopefully, of 12 months from now. So they're coming onto market now, hoping to get a buyer who will agree 12 months from now, 9 months from now, 8 months from now, and 7 months from now. So you never know who is out there. So don't just leave it to the last minute to put your house in the market and hope it's going to sell in a month or 2 months, because you could get somebody to fit into your exact criteria of what you're actually looking for in terms of the people coming to market. So what is new coming to market with us this week? Well, look out for Foreman Road. This is an amazing 3-bedroom, 2-reception with a beautiful secret garden. Now, I did a wee coming soon during last week there, and I sat in the courtyard garden, and no one overlooks this garden, and it sits in the sun almost all day long. Total seclusion. You would think you were in this idyllic place. So that's going to be coming to market this week. Watch out for that pre-portal launch, an opportunity to get in there before anyone else. Glendale, that's going to be coming to market. It's a 3-bedroom apartment on 2 levels, upper apartment, and it's finished an extremely high standard. Solid wood doors, facing skirtings. It has an extra special room. It has a wee study library area as well, and a luxury bathroom. So watch out for that one. University Terrace in Pittenweem, 3-bedroom, 2-reception detached villa. It is actually extended to the rear. It has this beautiful open plan kitchen dining area and possibly a kitchen lounge as well. I love it. It's an amazing standard, and it's just around the corner from the West Praise tidal pool, the beach, and the Fife coastal path. So watch out for this one coming this week. West Shore and St Monans. Yep, we've got another one on West Shore coming up. An amazing 2-bedroom period property. And I did do a coming soon this week for this one, and you got a chance to see the amazing views that are outside of this property. But what you didn't see, this property was originally built in 1740, and what they've managed to do is they've managed to take some of the facings off the walls, all the strapping boarding, and they've actually exposed all the brickwork or the stonework and the wood and the timber, and it looks absolutely beautiful inside. This is a real one to watch out for. If you ever had a Grand Designs property, this is it. West Shore and St Monans, a 2-bedroom coming this week. And East Green Anstruther, that'll be coming on in the next couple of days onto the market. I did do a pre-portal launch last week. We have a number of inquiries about this already. The owners bought this last year. They decided to change the circumstances, but they spent an absolute fortune and reinvested and refurbished this place to an extremely high standard right throughout. It has stunning views right across the Fife coastal path. The Bash Rock you could see, the May Isle you could see, you could just see the harbour at the corner of your eye, and also you're just around the corner from the actual beach itself. It's got a balcony as well, and it's also got a patio, so you can sit and literally watch the world go by from this property. So that's East Green. It's going to be coming to market this week as well. A couple of the articles that we've actually talked about this week. No letting go. Now, letting go. Now, this was all about what you need to know about switching managing agents in Fife for a property. If it's not going that great with your current letting agent, this is probably a really good article to click on. Now, I wasn't part of the show yesterday, but I did watch the show and I listened to the podcast today as well. Richard, Charlotte, and Karen did this from the lettings team, and it was an absolutely fantastic and informative show. For once, they actually got a word in edgeways. Because I wasn't there. But I did have a wee comment now and again. And it's a good show, a lot of information. I think the key things is, how do you feel about your current managing agent? I mean, if you go on to read this, you'll probably have some doubts too. Feeling disheartened about the managing of your property can come from any number of reasons, and it usually boils down to one of the usual things. It's poor value for money, it's excessive void periods and loss of rent, it's continually finding troublesome tenants as well, and overcharging for repairs. You sometimes get that. Unnecessary expenses incurred, inadequate record keeping and maintenance, unhelpful or rude attitude to use a customer. I'm even getting that off of BT just now. Failing to carry out inspections. Some letting agents don't actually carry out inspections, even though they're meant to. And lack of communication, chaotic compliance and paperwork as well. You'd be amazed at what happens. So, but be careful before rushing in and moving on. Take some time to consider why you wish to switch to your letting agent. That's probably one of the most important things I would say. Also, to save repeating the previous experience, use the disappointments with your current letting agent to ask how the new company would handle a similar situation to what you had with that previous agent. Remember, you don't need to wait for your tenancy to end to switch managing agents. You must check your agreement first before, so you know about notice periods and obligations with your current agent. And as soon as you've given notice with your current agent and instruct a new one, it's time to inform your tenant. Make sure you do that, because that could really get everybody a wee bit higgledy-piggledy and bent out of shape. And once the most important thing as well is next is, and final for this, and you'll be able to read this blog yourself. You could listen to the podcast again. You could watch the show. It's all on this post anyway. You click on the link. Remember, your new agent will usually collect the keys from your old one, unless they're a long way away. When your keys need to be sent by registered post, make sure they are sent by registered post, because you never know what could happen. And if that's the case, make sure the address of your property doesn't find its way into the envelope. Okay. So I think that's one of the most important things about if you need to switch a letting agent. Good evening, Andrea. How are you? Next one. Okay, let's talk about. I've actually posted this one right across a lot of the community pages across Fife itself. Maybe about 40 pages. I've posted it individually on, and it's our love and hate for an affair with the semi-detached house. It's quite interesting that the semi-detached house actually goes back to the early 1600s, where it actually came up as a style of property, and it was a halfway house between people. They wanted more than a terraced house because they had somebody either side, but they couldn't afford to have a detached house because they would have to have so much land with it. So they came up with the idea of putting two houses together, putting a massive brick wall in between, so that it would make you feel like you had your own house. And then what they did was they put the doorways not on the front of the properties, but they put them on the side of the houses. So it made you feel like you had your own detached property and your own place, and it was nice and private for you. And that's where the semi-detached house came from. But I've actually put on the history right from the 1600s. Through the different eras and the phases and how that's come about right up to today, and how popular is the semi-detached house. So I'd be interested as well to hear your thoughts on the semi-detached house, but it is the most popular choice in the Fife area for a house style, and 3 bedrooms seem to be the most popular choice as well. Finally, just as I'm finishing off, again, I'll talk about the need to get a current valuation of your property. This is not about selling your house potentially. This is about planning for your future and understanding where you are financially in terms of what assets you have and what you hold, in order to make sure you get things like the right mortgage rates. For example, and I'll keep going on about it every single week, your loan to value in your property when you took out your first mortgage might have been a 90% loan to value. So in other words, it was 10% deposit you put down, it was 90% you mortgaged. But if a number of years have passed since you actually did that, and the bank keeps saying, oh, you can just renew on a different rate, but they're not actually telling you possibly that if you go to a lender, the price of your property has actually increased in value now. You've probably paid down some of your mortgage, so your loan to value is possibly 70% or even 60% now, which means instead of you having to pay what other people pay for a more riskier category, which is a 90% loan to value, you could end up getting a mortgage rate on a 60 or 70% loan to value, which for the bank is no risk. So your mortgage rate is a lot lower than a 90% rate. And that's where you could be missing out. So that's why I put the instant valuation tool on this post every single week, so you can click on that and just check the current valuation of your property to give you a rough idea where it is. If it comes out that the numbers are right and your value is significantly higher and you know your mortgage is significantly lower, then you need to make sure you do that. That's the most important thing. You never know where you stand with this, but you need to check that, because it could save you a lot of money in the short term and in the medium term as well. It could also pleasantly surprise you, because you might not be living in the home you really want. Are you actually living in your dream home? And if you're not living in your dream home, you need to speak to us, because potentially we could possibly make that happen for you. Don't just write things off. Speak to an expert. It knows what they're doing. It knows what the market's like. It knows what the demand for your type of property is, because your property actually might be worth significantly more than the property you're thinking about going to. And I mean in terms of differential, because in some areas of Fife, property prices are going up 15, 20, 30 and 40%. Yeah, they are actually getting offers at 40% over the home report value. In other areas of Fife, where I've shown you in the beginning of this programme, they've got less demand for the types of properties in there. So therefore, if you're moving from one area to another, your differential might be actually better with you selling than you buying. And you might not be paying as much proportionately for the property you're actually buying as a result of that. So this again comes back to saying why you need to speak to an expert that understands the market and understands the numbers, so you can plan for the future. If at the end of that conversation it comes to the agreement that you shouldn't sell, we would actually tell you that. I have actually told people that in the past. I don't know why I'm sitting here, because I don't think you should sell the house. And they've actually agreed with me, and we've given them the right decision. And they've had the right decision. So it's all about the right decision for you, not the fact that we get to sell your house. We'd love to sell your house, but it's the right decision for you going on from here. And that's what's more important to us, that you get the right information and the right facts to make the decision for you. If you've got any further questions, guys, please feel free to message us direct after this is run. If you're watching a rerun, you could obviously put comments in there as well. We're able to pick them up if you've got any comments or questions, and we could help you with that as well. And until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.